Hi there! Welcome back to the weird side of YouTube. I'm your host, author DC Knight, and this is Casual Fridays, the show where I sit in my pajamas and just talk to you guys, sometimes about my week, sometimes I have a blog, sometimes I have updates on my channel and my current projects. Today, I thought that I would do a Q&A. Now, every time that I try to do a Q&A, it doesn't really work. No one really responds. The only response I ever got the last time I fished for questions, which was like a year ago, was the question, why don't you wear wigs anymore? And the answer to that is, it took me a really long time to come to terms with the fact that I'm balding, and I was trying to hide it with wigs and trying to push my hair up, and I just didn't like that, but it was better than, like, this, I thought. But then my partner did my hair like this one day and pulled it all back with, like, gel, which is how it is now, and I liked it. And then he pointed to, like, really sexy celebrities that are bald and or balding, and asked me if I was attracted to them, and I said yes. And then he said, well, why don't you find yourself attractive? And that just really helped me a lot, and now I feel sexy. So, yeah, that's the only question I've ever gotten, and I'm glad I was finally able to answer it. But I do have a list here on my handy-dandy notebook laptop, and it is a 50 questions you've never been asked YouTube tag, and it is from Kat Buska and her website Mama's Losing It. On mamacatlosinit.com. That's losing with an N and no G. If you want to try these, she has a lot of them, and I've used them a couple times, but I've never actually given her credit. So I apologize for that, Miss Baska. Kat, here's your credit. Here you go. And we are going to be doing these 50 questions you've never been asked YouTube tag, and let's go. Alright, number one is, what's your favorite candle scent? Now, I have a lot of candles, and I have a lot of candle scents. My favorite one, as basic as this is, pumpkin spice. I'm a basic white girl, I'm sorry. Oh, Theodore's here, by the way, in his undies. He said he felt sexy in his undies, so I didn't change him. Number two is, what female celebrity do you wish was your sister? At first I said Stevie Nicks, because I love her personality, I love how nice she is, kind she is, and I love her rock and roll spirit that she still has at whatever age she might be now. However, she is very old, and if she was my sister and she passed, I'd be very devastated. Not that I wouldn't be devastated if she passed in general, but you know, if she was my sister, it'd be multiplied. So I think I will choose Amy Lee from Evanescence, who actually, her personality reminds me a lot of my own sister. And I just think that we get along really well because of that. Number three, what male celebrity do you wish was your brother? The one male celebrity that I love with my whole heart, I don't wish was my brother because I want to fuck him. That is, you guys are going to be so surprised by this, everyone is. He's my celebrity crush, and it's Sean Astin. My type is like thick boys with beards and hair, and I know he shaves his beard now, but I don't care, he's still fucking hot. He's the fucking hottest celebrity, he's the sexiest man alive to me. I don't care. But what celebrity do I wish was my brother? I don't like any male celebrities. The ones I used to like Chris Pratt, turned out to be an asshole. I can't answer that because I don't want any male celebrity to be my brother. Sorry. Number four, how old do you think you'll be when you get married? I'm gonna aim for 35, because we're engaged. Aiming for 35. I'm 33 now. I'm turning 34 in April this year. Number five, do you know a hoarder? Yes. I know them very well, actually. And that's all I'll say about that. Number 6, can you do a split? No. I've never been able to do a split. I've tried, and I feel like I ripped a fucking muscle in half doing it because it hurt for days after that, but no, I can't do a split. 7. How old were you when you learned to ride a bike? I'm not entirely sure. I remember getting my first bike for Christmas, but I don't remember how old I was when that happened. I'm going to say, I'm going to give you a range from 7 to 10. 7 to 10, around there is when I learned how to ride my bike. Number 8 is, how many oceans have you swam in? I'm pretty sure only the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure only the Pacific Ocean, because I lived up north for a little bit, but that's the same ocean, I'm pretty sure. There's Pacific and Atlantic's on the California side, so yeah, I'm pretty sure the Pacific Ocean is the same on top and bottom of the right side of America, so just one. Number 9, how many countries have you been to? This list is classist. I've never been to another country. I've only been in America. Number 10, is anyone in your family in the army? No, thank God. I don't think anyone in my family has ever been in the army. And if they did, they would be... I don't know if I'd consider them family anymore. Not because, like, I'm so against war or whatever, but everyone I've ever met that's, like, a veteran or an army brat is a terrible person. They're just mean to fucking everybody. I'm sorry. If that offends you, it's the truth. Number 11, what would you name your daughter if you had one? I always wanted to name my daughter Christiana because my sister's name is Christian and my mom's name is Christine. So I wanted to name my daughter after them both, and I love the name Christiana. I haven't thought of a middle name. My ex, the abusive one, wanted me to name our daughter Christiana Michelle because his mom's name is Michelle, but I don't think that goes together really. Also, I wouldn't use that now because he's a terrible person. His mom's a fine woman. She's good, but I wouldn't use her name because he's an asshole. Number 12, what would you name your son if you had one? I wanted to name my son this since I was 15 years old, and that is Aiden Raphael. And now, everyone and their fucking grandson is named Aiden, which is really fucking annoying, but it's fine because I'll probably never have kids anyway, because I'm already 33. And it's probably never going to happen, but I've always loved the name Aiden Raphael for a boy. What's the worst grade you got on a test? A 0. I'm pretty sure I got a few zeros in high school. Also, is this quiz based towards children? How many children have been to other countries? Rich ones. Number 14, what was your favorite TV show when you were a child? I had a few. The Little Mermaid animated series, obviously. I also really, really loved Tiny Toon Adventures. Courage the Cowardly Dog, Sailor Moon, and Reboot. Number 15, what did you dress up on Halloween when you were 8? Do people remember these things? I don't fucking remember what I dressed up as for Halloween when I was 8. Do people remember these? How do you remember that? Specifically, I don't remember over half of my Halloween costumes. What the fuck? How do y'all remember this shit? Number 16, have you read any of the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, or Twilight series? I was not allowed to read Harry Potter as a kid because my mom said it's witchcraft. Because of that, I have no nostalgia towards it today, and I've watched the movies, and I think they're honestly overrated. I can't speak on the books because I've never read them, and I have no desire to, but I think the movies are overrated, and J.K. Rowling's a turf, so fuck her. The Hunger Games I read in, I think, middle or high school, and I really loved them, and I love the movies, although, as usual, the movies don't have as much detail as the books, so what can you do? I do have a movie. I wish I had a movie planned. I have a YouTube video planned about the issue with adaptations. I've heard both used, whatever you want to use. From book to movie, from book to video game, from movie to video game, literally anything, any kind of adaptation. Stay tuned for that video because I'm gonna go into depth about it. Twilight, I read the first book and the second book because me and my sister loved the movies at the same time, so we went out and got all of the books and read them. Yes, I love Twilight. I was in, like, high school, and it was the first thing I've seen where like the vampires were a love interest, and I've always liked that. Some of the first stories I wrote were like gay romance, vampire and werewolf, Romeo and Juliet kind of shit, and I just thought it was interesting and fun and new. Now, looking back, obviously they're cheesy and problematic, not just because of the creepy things that Edward does and Jacob imprinting on a baby, but because the whole Christian Mormon aspect to it. If you didn't know, Mormons believed that black people, if they went to heaven, they turned white. I was under the impression that we didn't keep these bodies when we went to heaven, let alone have them turn a different color. Yeah, they turn white when they go to heaven, and Stephanie Meyer there was no black characters in her book, and she had a fit when the director and the casting agent cast a black man as Laurent. She was pissed. So, yeah, Mormons are kind of racist. They're also misogynistic and homophobic. So, like all religion, really. So, what can you do? But yeah, I was a twihard when I was a kid. Obviously now they're terrible, but you know, I thought they were novel at the time. I was also 15 and didn't really have much experience in the world, so what can you do? Number 17, would you rather have an American accent or a British accent? British, darling, British. I've been annoying the shit out of my partner for the past 2 days because I'm reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I'm writing my own version of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And I am watching all adaptations of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And I'm in this, like, Alice headspace. So not only am I giving him a Victorian British accent, I am also speaking in a way that Alice would speak, like dissociating and talking about her weird fantasies about cats and rabbits and waistcoats and just weird fucking shit about, like, shit that doesn't fucking matter. And he's like, shut the fuck up. I can't help it. When I get into the headspace of these characters, I literally become them so I can write about them. It's just something I've always done, whether I've made up the characters or whether they're characters that I'm adapting. It's just, that's who I am as a writer, baby. Number 18, did your mother go to college? My mother dropped out in high school. So no. Number 19, are your grandparents still married? They were. Then they died. One right after the other because one was heartbroken or whatever. That was my dad's side, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they died pretty near each other. My mom's side, her dad died when she was young, and then her mom lived like 20 years down the road. Which is probably how my mom's gonna do because my dad died. Hopefully. It's been like 10 years, so I don't think she'll kill over from a broken heart. But the bitch has already had cancer in one. So, like, it's gonna take a lot to kill my mom. Thankfully. Number 20, have you ever taken karate lessons? No, but I really wanted to. My best friend growing up took karate, and he, like, showed me his moves and tried to teach me, but I just wouldn't take for some reason. Which was weird because my parents said we couldn't afford to put me in karate, but they lived in a house that was made of plywood. My best friend lived in a house that was made of plywood, and the walls were this thick, in the middle of the woods, and they had nothing. And they could afford to go to karate, and I couldn't. Makes total sense. Number 21, do you know who Kermit the Frog is? Who the fuck doesn't know who Kermit the Frog is? Theodore knows who Kermit the Frog is. This is designed for children, isn't it? Yeah. Number 22. What's the first amusement park you've been to? Carowinds. Paramount's Carowinds in North Carolina, which is... I'm from North Carolina originally, then I lived in South Carolina. Then I lived in Salem, Massachusetts, and then I lived in North Carolina again. Then I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and now I live in North Carolina again. But Carowinds used to be owned by Paramount. It had, like, their movies, themed rides. and Hanna-Barbera Land, which is like Yogi Bear and the Flintstones. That's all gone now. The last time I went to it was a few years ago, and it is like themed after the Peanuts and Charlie Brown because Carowinds keeps losing their licenses for their characters. Can't imagine why with all the accidents that are happening. We won't go into that. Number 23. What language besides your native language would you like to be fluent in? I'm learning Japanese. Actually, now that I think about it, I haven't actually done my lessons for Japanese in over a year. So, I'm not really learning Japanese, but I want to learn Irish Gaelic. I really do. Because I'm trying to get in touch with my culture from there, my Celtic culture, because I'm Welsh, Irish, and Scottish, and I really, really want to get in touch with that culture. Literally anything I can do to get in touch with that culture, I will do. Number 24, do you spell the color as gray or gray? G-R-E-Y or G-R-A-Y? I believe one is the British way of spelling and one is the American. Every time I try to type them out when I'm writing, it corrects me to G-R-A-Y. So that one, I guess. 25. Is your father bald? My father's dead. But he was balding like I was before he died. He also had gray salt and pepper hair. And I'm getting some right here. Very excited. I also think that men with salt and pepper hair are sexy. I'm weird, I know. Number 26. Do you know triplets? I've never met triplets. Ever. 27. Do you prefer Titanic or The Notebook? I think this is gonna ruffle some feathers. I think Nicholas Sparks is a bad writer. The books that I've read, which were The Notebook, and I don't fucking remember the other one. That's how fucking much it stood out to me. I don't think I finished it. And the synopsis from the other books that I've read, like the blurbs about them, they are all the same, and they're all boring, and they're all the same fucking white woman, the same fucking white man falling in love and overcoming their obstacles. It's boring. Like, not just him. All heterosexual white people romance has been overdone completely, and it is so fucking boring to me that it... Do something else with it. Make it interesting. I don't want to sit here and read about the same boring white woman and the same boring white man doing the same boring white shit. The same fucking heterosexual bullshit. It's fucking annoying. I don't care. And it's not realistic. We're just not going to get into it. I might make a video about how the romance genre is dead at this point, but we'll... as a subgenre as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to make a video about how the subgenre of romance is dead. I prefer Titanic, in case you can't tell. I love Titanic. Titanic did something interesting with it because they were doomed from the start. That, chef's kiss. Adding a romance story to the tragedy of Titanic was brilliant. Brilliant. And it was a short-lived romance, but it was passionate, and you could feel how they felt about each other. It was palpable. Love it. Love the whole thing. Coincidentally, the only movie with Leonardo DiCaprio that I liked. And no, I've never watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I probably should, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people love that movie. I'm gonna make a plan to watch What's Eating Gilbert Grape after this. 28. Have you ever had Indian food? I've had an Indian in me. But no, I've never had Indian food. What's the name of your favorite restaurant? I don't remember. I do have a specific favorite restaurant. Actually, I do remember. Los Amigos? It's a Mexican restaurant. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Los Cayos, maybe. It might be Los Cayos or whatever, but it might also be Los Amigos. I might be confusing too. I don't drive. And my partner always picks for me where we're gonna eat, so I don't know. I disassociate a lot. I don't know where the fuck we go. Number 30. Have you ever been to the Olive Garden? Who's not been to the Olive Garden? I love Olive Garden, but our Olive Garden sucks. They gave me chicken Alfredo one time, and the noodles were hard. Just very weird. Do you belong to any warehouse stores? Costco, BJ's, etc. I don't, but I'm pretty sure my partner belongs to one of them. Is Sam's Club a warehouse store? If it is, then my partner belongs to it. 32. What would your parents have named you if you were the opposite gender? Dana Clarissa, because my mom still wanted me to go by DC. If you have a nickname, what is it? I go by my initials, DC. 34. What is your favorite person? Who's your favorite person in the world? My partner? Who else would it be? 35. Would you rather live in a rural area or the suburbs? I have lived in both. I'm gonna say rural because your neighbors aren't as fucking annoying and in your business as they are in the suburbs. In the rural areas, your neighbors kind of stick to themselves because they have like farmland and animals and livestock they need to take care of. In the suburbs, no one has a life, so they make your life their business. 36. Can you whistle? Let me wet my palate a little bit. A little bit. My dad could do some weird shit with his fingers and like make the loudest death whistle you've ever heard, but I can't fucking do that. 37. Do you sleep with a nightlight? I used to. I was scared of the dark until I was 19. Yeah. To be fair, I had a lot of religious trauma and was convinced that the devil was after me. And I was convinced that Satan or his demons were literally in the darkness. Literally, physically there in the darkness. And they were going to drive me to hell if I was in the darkness with them. If I ever even stepped or put a finger in the darkness, I was convinced that the devil or his demons were going to grab me and drag me into hell. And it was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of staying up all night crying, and there was a lot of begging my sister or my mom to let me sleep with them, and this was like at 17, 18 years old, because I was terrified, and so they wouldn't let me, obviously, because that's fucking weird, and I ended up sleeping in the hallway a lot of nights for a good 2 or 3 years, with the full light on. Yeah. I should probably talk to my therapist about that, because I never have. Funny thing though, I only felt that way when I was in my mom's house, and my mom was incredibly realistic. Hell no, she wasn't. Religious and homophobic. And it was her that told me that the devil was going to drag me to hell if I continued with this lifestyle. So, yeah, it was my mom's fault. 38. Do you eat breakfast every morning? I hardly ever eat breakfast. Breakfast makes me sick anything that I eat when I first wake up, it makes me sick to my stomach. And it always has since I was a kid. Number 39, do you take any pills or medication daily? I take a ton of pills. I don't know what they are. Don't try to ask me. They are for anxiety, depression, bipolar 2, and I have a sleeping pill that's prescribed to help me clear out my rampant, chaotic thoughts so I can go to sleep. Those were prescribed to me after I got out of the hospital, the mental hospital. If you don't know, I had a mental breakdown. I'm gonna have a story time video about the details of that. I do already have I'll put an annotation here, a really artistic video explaining why I was gone for a year and a half, which is basically because I had a mental breakdown. But I am going to have a very detailed story time video soon about the symptoms I experienced as well as my experience in the hospital. 40. What medical conditions do you have? I have bipolar 2 disorder, which used to be called manic depression. It's where you go from having manic episodes. I'm sure you guys have seen me. I've recorded a lot of videos during manic episodes. A lot. It's where I'm most productive. In these manic episodes, you do really dangerous things because you don't care. In my experience, I used to walk around the woods at night when I was a teenager, and in my 20s, I used to hook up with random men in random places, like Walmart bathrooms, behind the dumpster at Wendy's. Not even for money, just because I wanted to see if I could pull them by just giving them a look and motioning towards an area, and then I would, do what I was expected to do. A lot of times when I got down to the point, I didn't really want to do it, but I did it anyway because I was supposed to. It was really about the hunt for me. I know that sounds gross, but it was gross. It literally was about seeing if I could do it more than me actually wanting to, because on top of all my mental stuff, I've always had really, really low self-esteem, and for some reason I thought, seeing if I could pull all these dudes and doing stuff with them in public would help that. It actually kind of made it worse. And other than the manic episodes, I also have depressive episodes, and sometimes they get so bad I can't get out of bed all day. Like, all day. Yeah. 41. How many times have you been to the hospital? Like, stayed in the hospital? Or, like, been to the hospital in your life? I'm pretty sure this question was designed for kids. I don't know how many times I've been to the hospital. I've stayed at the hospital once for my mental illness. 42. Have you ever seen Finding Nemo? I'm a Disney-nerd. Of course I've seen Finding Nemo. I love Disney. Do not call me a Disney adult. I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland. I'm pretty sure you have to go to one of those to be considered a Disney adult. And I'm just too poor for that. Sorry. 43. Where do you buy your jeans? Anywhere that has my size. I don't care. I'm not one of those queens that only wears Gucci and Prada. Do they even make jeans? I don't fucking know. I've never seen one of those really high top brand labels. Any of their items, no matter what it is, shirt, jacket, belt, I've never seen one that I thought was pretty. So, I think, in my opinion, this is my theory, that those top brand labels make the ugliest things they can, and then sell them to you for ridiculous prices, and they make fun of you behind your back. That's my opinion. 44. What's the last compliment you got? My partner said I looked pretty yesterday. 45. Do you usually remember your dreams in the morning? I do, and for the past, I think, year, I've had dreams all about the same person. And I don't like it. They're not good dreams. They're not sex dreams. They're pretty much nightmares. That's all I'm going to say. 46. What flavor tea do you enjoy? I really love hot mint tea. There's a mint medley brand that I get from... It's not a brand, it's the flavor of a brand that I get from Walmart when we go shopping. And I can't drink tea, and I haven't been able to in a while because my tea kettle broke. And I'm really upset about it. I did have one of those mechanical ones that you sit on top and it boils it. You didn't have to use the stove at all. And it shattered, and I'm really sad about it. Now I can only drink sweet tea, regular old sweet tea, because I can't make my own. But I love hot tea. Very, very much so. 47. How many pairs of shoes do you currently own? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I own 8 pairs of shoes. I'm looking over here because we have a shoe rack right here. 48. What religion will you raise your children to practice? I don't believe in subjecting my children to child abuse. So, if I have children, I will be teaching them about religions, all religions, so that they won't get brainwashed. But I will not be teaching them to practice a goddamn thing. Whether it's paganism or Christianity, both of which I have been. Buddhism, Muslim, what fucking have you. Religion, in my opinion, is the root of all evil. And yes, I am talking about witchcraft because I used to be a witch. And the trauma that I have from that and being told that I'm not good enough and that I'll never be fucking good enough and that I need to work on myself and blah, 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 blah. Worse than Christian religion. Christian trauma. Worse than religious Christian trauma is the trauma that I have from witchcraft. Never again. And I will never subject my children to that. 49. How old were you when you found out that Santa wasn't real? My sister told me when I was 14, and I know that's pretty late. But when I was a kid, I believed in everything. Fairies, mermaids, vampires, aliens. I still believe in aliens. But she was like, really concerned about that, so she sent me down and was like, none of this is real. So, 50. Why do you have a Tumblr? How did you know I had a Tumblr, bitch? This is a YouTube question list. That's what it's labeled as. How'd you know I had a Tumblr? Is this a read? I think this is a read. I have a Tumblr because I have all main social medias because I work online. I was never really a Tumblr girl. I always had a Tumblr. Back when it did porn, I was on it a lot more. I'm just saying. But I was never really one of those people that like shared funny things or shared poetry or shared art on it. My friends all did, and they begged me to get on it, but it was just never interesting to me. I have it now, and I never fucking use it because no one's on it anymore. But that is my 50 questions you've never been asked YouTube tag. And it doesn't say it was aimed towards children, but it certainly does look... The picture up here is a child, like of 5 years old. Do kids YouTube nowadays? I wouldn't let my fucking kid on the internet. Y'all parents are fucking brave as shit, because I wouldn't let my kids on the fucking internet until they were at least 15 goddamn years old. The shit I see on the internet, not suitable for kids. And I'm not even looking at adult-themed shit. But in my opinion, a lot of kid-aimed things aren't suitable for kids, so... That's just my opinion. But, I love you guys. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I know this is a new kind of Casual Fridays, but a lot of times I don't really have much to talk about because I'm still working on my projects. There's not really any new updates on my channel. I can't do a Q&A. So I think I'm just going to start doing tags on this and see how that goes. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I desperately need it. And I'll see you guys later. I love you. Bye.